Finding safe places to stay overnight can be a challenge when on an RV trip. Fortunately, there is a new kid on the block who is really changing how that works. Stay tuned to find out. Welcome to RV Out West. I'm your host, Brooks. My Family of Four's base camp is located in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, and our RV adventures radiate out from there. Please grab a mug of coffee and join us as we discuss RVing around the American West. From sweet camping spots, gear and equipment, to tips and tricks, we've got you covered. We are RV Out West. I want to remind you that our podcast survey is still live. For those of you who have completed it, thank you, and you are entered to win that $80 thank you prize. If you haven't taken the survey, I'm asking you to please do so. It provides an opportunity for you to give some valuable feedback and help shape the future of the show. You can take the survey from the link right there in your podcast app in the footer of this episode description, or you can head over to rvoutwest.com and click on the link survey. I sure would appreciate it. Now, on to the show. When traveling on longer multi-day RV trips, finding a safe location to spend the night can be a challenge. Truck stops are too loud with the rumbling of the tractor trailers. Same with rest areas. And Walmarts and Cracker Barrels can be in some pretty sketchy locations. We all know about Harvest Hosts and their solution to helping you find places to stay. But today, we have a chat with Rob from RV Overnights. He's an RVer who grew up camping and RVing, and with a friend, they decided to create their own solution. And while it may sound similar to Harvest Hosts, they're not. Rob, thank you so much for coming on RV Out West. I'm excited to be chatting with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So can you just give me a little bit of your story?
Ever since I was a kid, I love camping. I got really addicted to it. One of my friends that I made in grade school, his father was in Boy Scouts, he was in Boy Scouts, and we just started going camping all the time. And then that led to having a lot of friends who had parents that had campers. So then, a lot of camping and campers as I started to grow up. And then parents' friends had campers, and my parents never owned a camper, but we used to rent them all the time. So there was a lot of that. As I got to be older, eventually I bought my own, and then I did what every RVer does and bought another one and sold the first one. And then I bought another one. So I'm on my third right now. I love Winnebago. That's why the Winnebago's in the background. Yeah, I've been doing all kinds of camping my entire life. But as far as RVing, it's definitely like it's easy to convince my wife to go RVing. That's for sure, as opposed to camping, even though she would be up for camping. It's just great having everything with you. And it's such an awesome time to have your bed and your pillow and your fridge and your couch and your TV, just in case it rains. And I got all my cooking stuff floated up in there, and we just have a great time. So
what is your current rig?
My first really nice rig was a Winnebago Navion. It was a little older. It was a Class C on the Sprinter chassis, good gas mileage. It was a little older, and it fit in a lot of nice tight spaces, but we wanted to see what it was like to have a travel trailer and pull it with the truck and have the truck when we got somewhere. So we ended up getting a Winnebago 2225RL. So it's their micro mini series. It's 7 feet wide instead of 8. It's not as tall, but it's a rear living. So it has couch, table, very nice living area with a TV, galley kitchen, bathroom, and then a east to west bed in the front. But I love it. It's the perfect size. I never have to worry about bridges or anything like that because of the width and the height and everything else. I fit almost everywhere. And it's just great to be able to drop it and take the truck and go into a cool area or a park or something like that, or run out to get whatever you forgot when you were packing up. Yeah, we love that rig.
Well, then what have been some of your favorite places that you have been RVing?
My wife and I took a really nice trip to Shenandoah Mountains, which is the parks there are just awesome. I think there's 5, if I remember correctly, national parks there. It's way off the beaten path. There's no cell service, which when you're in the industry I'm in and your phone just goes off 97 times an hour, no cell service for a couple of days isn't the worst thing. We're big stargazers. We love checking out the stars and just watching the stars at night. And being up there, the light pollution was like dead. And that made it awesome for stargazing. And then we found out that there was actually a meteor shower going on that night, and the
I was going
state
to
park
ask,
service.
did you watch the per said meteor shower?
Yes, we went into Big Meadow because we were at Big Meadow Park, and there is a Big Meadow. It's not just named that for no reason. And the Park Service had these red blinking lights all over the ground to lead you out into the meadow, so that you didn't have to use a flashlight, so your eyes could adjust. We went out there, and you couldn't really tell until a meteor went how many people were in that field, because the second the meteor went, everybody went, oh, like they were making noise when they saw it go. And then you realize, wow, there's a few thousand people in this field, but I can't see them because it's dark. So a great experience. And we want to do more of that as we make our way out west, just more stargazing. And we know as we get further towards the middle of the country, it's just going to get better and better. So
Have you been out? So you mentioned coming out to the West. Have you been out to the Pacific Northwest?
no, not yet. It's on our bucket list. We want to make it out there. Being from New Jersey, which don't hold against me. Being from New Jersey, it is tough to make that longer trip. It's a big commitment. We will get to it very soon. We've been talking about it nonstop. We want to make it out and go check out more of the redwood trees. We just finally went to Murr Woods. We flew out there. But Murr Woods, we'd love to go back there and visit. And, just a lot of the places there's just so much out there that is so different than what we've seen and what we've been used to.
I want to dig into a little bit now about RV overnights. You guys are definitely disrupting and kind of the newcomers to that space. So give me a little bit of the backstory there. Why did you and your business partner decide to kind of start this business?
Yeah, I mean, we had an idea of what we wanted it to look like, and just decided to start exploring what that could be. And it turned into what it is now, which is this, it's a massive application, and it's got some really good features and different things like that. Like you said, we are trying to disrupt the market. We want to offer stuff that people haven't offered before. We want to keep it more than affordable for folks. We don't want it to be something that it's, a strenuous pull and to make a decision to buy the membership. And then, the other part of that is it's all about supporting small businesses. My business partner and I both have owned small businesses the majority of our lives. We understand that side of it. We understand supporting that instead of a Walmart, instead of a Cracker Barrel. And it's not a program that's meant to replace a campground. It's a program that's meant to be that leapfrog between. You have a couple of travel nights, you want a safe place to stay, and you want to grab some food, you want to grab some beer, and that's the thing, is it's so easy to support these hosts when you're on the road, because there's stuff that you're going to need and want. And as long as you plan your trip that way, even some of the attractions and stuff, I mean, it's not like you're not going to stop anywhere on a trip. You want to experience what's around, and you'll never find anything more local than what's on our map. Like we're kind of curating those really cool experiences that you might not find otherwise.
And I found talking to those owners, you get the best intel for like things to see and do in the area too. So while you're having a beer or a glass of wine or a bite to eat and you're talking to people, you can get some great just information about the area, whether it's historical information. That's cool. Did the idea come where you guys like, is it sitting around a campfire, a couple of beers deep and like, hey, we want to do that? Or was there, how did that kind of spawn?
It's to pin it down to an exact moment. I'm not sure when it was, but my business partner and I are neighbors. So I have a very long driveway, and on one side of near the roadside of my driveway is my business partner's mother's house. And on the other side of the driveway is my business partner's house. Around the pandemic, we just started talking more and getting to be friends because, everybody was stuck at their house. And, the more we got to be friends, the more we started talking about that we had campers and that we love to do this and we love to do that. And, eventually it just spurred the idea like, hey, let's give this a shot. Neither of us have ever been involved in tech. So that was definitely a big adjustment. Every business I've had has been like a service business. Same with him, local stuff, never a national brand by any means. And it's been an adjustment, definitely adjusting to certain things being out of your control when you're not the head engineer, but you're in charge of the company and, you want something done or something goes wrong. It's it's still on you, even though you can't fix it yourself. You got to rely on your people. But we have a really strong team, and they're very agile, and that's why you just see stuff constantly coming out to our app, is because we're just always looking for what's that next thing we can add. In the coming week or so, you're going to see a massive amount of map layers. So we have right now satellite, and we have terrain, but we're about to add a dark skies map for stargazing.
Super cool.
I I
Yeah.
like to pull stuff that I like myself,
Yep.
so it's a little bit selfish, but it works. We're adding all the different cell coverages, Starlink coverage. We're adding in BLM land, National Forest land, air quality, you name it. We're adding in all these different weather layers. It's
Will you have
cellular
cellular
coverage. Yep,
coverage?
yep.
Okay.
Uh, Broken out by carrier.
Yeah, cool.
So
Okay.
T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon. I just saw the demo map just a little bit ago, and it does look really cool. We've got forest fires as a map layer, so just a lot of stuff like that. And there's some other features that are coming out in the next week or so that I won't talk about yet, but just say that you'll be surprised when you see them. So we like stuff like that.
That's exciting. How is RV overnights different than your competitors?
Yeah. So the biggest thing there,
And there's one competitor I have in mind, right? I mean, it's
yeah, we won't say it. There's a lot of different things. We have 27 unique filters, which is a big one. Being able to filter for all these different things, from electrical hookups to what check-in time is, if you can run your generator or not, how long you can run your generator, whether it's to 10 p.m. or the whole night or not at all. We have a hashtag search, which hasn't been introduced before, but we have 14 host categories. Some of the other platforms have just 5 categories. So that's a really good driver in itself to make it easier to drill down and find the right host. We wanted to even break it out further, but we didn't want to have like 17 different versions of a farm that you have to select, because that would be kind of obnoxious. And that was where this hashtag search came from. And right now we have 1,100 hashtags loaded in, I think, and there's more being added as different hosts on board. But the host can put in waterfront, beachfront, pondfront, lakefront, fishing. For farms, for instance, there's alpaca farms, there's apple picking farms, there's you name it. So the
yeah.
locations all get to put these tags in, and they can put as many as they want per location. So if they offer different services, different things, and then as a member, when you're searching for a host, you can put in those hashtag filters, and it'll help you find those places so that it's easy to find, fall foliage or, whatever you're looking for. Of course, it's up to the host to add it, but we do a pretty good job in onboarding that. If they didn't take the time to do it, we usually load them up pretty good. So we just want the profiles to be as comprehensive as possible. It's why we added Google Street View. Nobody's ever done that before. And,
That's
that
helpful.
just lets you see the approach in your rig. I mean, sure, could you take the address, go to Google, type it in or paste it, then look at it? Yes. But when you're trying to make a decision, when you're at the location, it's a different story. You're on the app, you're looking at the location, you want to make a decision then. It just makes it a little faster. So, besides that, we've got it so you can actually pick individual parking spaces. So they're listed individually. They're not listed just as 5 spaces. You can actually see each space. And we let the host put in length, parking surface, amenities, whether or not they have electric there, whether or not they have dump station there, water fill, fire rings. I can't even remember all the different amenities that you can choose from, but basically it gives you a really
It helps
good
people
image.
narrow their search.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things we did not that long ago was we added these resource pins. So we just wanted to make it easier to overlay our information with other information you might need. So you could find other stuff while you're out on the road or while you're at a host or while you're looking at a route from one host to the next. And those resource pins include everything from dumping propane stations to RV repair, towing, storage, campgrounds, RV parks, all that kind of stuff. And
even RV storage.
yeah, so
Because we've driven across country to go visit family in Pennsylvania, and I was looking for a place where I could potentially store my rig for a week. and just unhook my travel trailer so we could go be with family, but not have to pay $85 a night at a campground, or whatever. And that's something
Yeah.
you guys offer. That's pretty.
That was a big
Yeah.
one, and that's why we put that in there. And those locations are all on there. They all have the same profile information as the host profiles. So they have business hours, they have contact information, they have Google Street View. They even show the reviews and photos from Google. So we source that information in just to be, some extra stuff. It just it really does help.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Really
That's
does help you
great.
find what you're looking
Yeah,
for.
that's really super
Yep.
helpful.
I'd say, one of the biggest things is my business partner and I, we want to talk to people. We want to help people. We want to be there for folks. And that's why we offer phone support. A lot of companies are doing away with phone support. They're sticking with AI and chatbots and things like that. By offering phone support, we know that there's folks out there who just need a little help every now and again, or have a quick question they need an answer to or something like that. And they just want to talk to a person. And half the time you call, it's me or Kurt. So, we're picking up the phones and doing everything else every day, but we're just trying to make it as user friendly as possible. And really, that's something I'm not going to say we vow to never get rid of it, because that's a difficult thing. If we get really, really big, it might get harder and harder, but we're going to keep that as long as it makes sense, and have that as an option.
Well, then that kind of segues into where do you and your business partner kind of project and see or dream to have RV overnights in, say, 5 years? Kind of what's your 5-year plan, big goal stuff that you can share? What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that we could do with the app, and obviously, growing the amount of hosts we have is number one, and then growing the amount of members we have is also number one. They're competing for the number one slot. There's not a one and a two; those are both a one. It takes one to build the other, and vice versa. So that's definitely on top of our mind. But I'm one of those guys that has to hop out of the shower out of nowhere so I can email myself an idea because I was in the shower and I thought of something. Or I'll be driving the car and I'll ask my wife to send me a text message and remind me of an idea I had. To say where we're going to be in 5 years, I could try to give you an idea, but the truth is I think of little ideas here and there all the time. And sometimes I have some big ones like the resources and stuff like that was a random idea. And like I said, our engineering team is just so agile when it comes to being able to get stuff done. And they had that resource layer launched in like a week and a half after I got them the data. So,
That's impressive.
we just want to keep adding stuff that helps. And we're always making little tweaks. And I went through and I renamed some stuff the other day and changed some of the icons in the app to make it more user friendly. And we're always, we're a young company. We launched last year at the Hershey Show in September. At the time, we had a very limited amount of hosts. Our mobile app wasn't out yet on the phone. And then in March of this year is when the mobile app came out, and everything really started coming together. And we started doing more and more with membership sales and building partnerships. And we've got a lot of great discount partners, and that's growing every day. Right now we're just focusing on different partnerships that we can build to help add more value for the user. And
Well, so let me ask you this. Where can people learn more about RV overnights?
yeah, so there's a few places. The website's obviously a popular one, and it's got plenty of information on there. It's got an interactive map. So even if you're not a member, you can kind of browse around and zoom in and zoom out. There's another great spot, which is there's a Facebook group that we don't own. Somebody started it, but it's called RV Overnights Enthusiasts. And you can check out that Facebook page, and there's people talking about their stays, and people ask questions about how to use the app and stuff. It's not an official support channel or anything like that, but it is a good resource for folks. And then our YouTube channel has tons of videos about the app, about what's included. Some of them are getting dated just because we come out with features too often, so our material gets to be relevant very quickly, and the amount of hosts we have grows quickly. And that's why you won't see anywhere on the website the amount of hosts listed, because it changes every day. So it would just be annoying to have to update it every day. So that's why we just do the map preview. It's easier. You can see everybody.
Makes sense. And then what about on social media? Where can people follow along on social media with what you guys are doing?
Yeah, we're pretty much on every form of social media, and it's always either backslash RV overnights or at RV overnights. But we're pretty easy to find. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. I think
You got it
that's it.
covered. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
No Snap. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. No, do people still use
I
Snapchat?
don't even know.
No, I'm just
I don't
kidding.
even know.
And I don't understand Twitter, so I have somebody else or not Twitter, TikTok. So somebody else does
Good.
that. I'm not that old, but I'm already too old for TikTok. So
Fair.
I'm out.
My
out on that
10-year-old
one.
daughter would crush
But
it for you, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's exactly who you have to hire if you want to do well on
Yep.
TikTok. Yeah.
Well, Rob, thank you so much, especially knowing that it's in New Jersey and you're staying late at the office to chat with me. I really appreciate you taking the time. So thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be on the show and tell everybody about us. And we're just trying to grow and just be a part of the community. And everybody's been really receptive so far. And I want to thank all the members that we have already. It's unbelievable how many have joined, and we're just going to continue to make that promise of growth and honoring our word and staying on top of things and good customer support. And
well, Rob, thank you again for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
If you liked this episode, please share it with your family and friends. I'd also like to invite you to follow RV Out West on Instagram and Facebook, where you can join in on the conversation. Please remember to head over to rvoutwest.com to participate in our podcast survey and be entered to win that $80 thank you gift. Click on the link survey and give your feedback. It would mean a lot to me. Thank you again for listening to RV Out West. I sincerely appreciate it. Next week, we are going to share with you our campground review of the brand new Angel of the Winds RV Resort. We stayed there in November for a shoulder season camping trip, and I've got a lot to share about our experience and what we thought of the place. Thanks so much for listening to RV Out West. Join us again next week. Please like and subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you choose to get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. I sure would appreciate it if you left a rating or a review of the show. Special thanks to Scott Holmes Music for providing us the intro song, We Are One. RV Out West can be found on Instagram and Facebook, where you can interact with us and follow along on our RV adventures around the Pacific Northwest. So get out there, explore, and go see what's beyond the horizon.